Welcome to our channel HD Rare Coin 111, your go-to spot for uncovering the incredible world of rare U.S. coins. If you've ever wondered if your old pennies, nickels, or dimes are worth more than face value, you're about to find out. In today's video, we'll be exploring some truly rare coins and their shocking values. And if you are new to the channel, make sure to subscribe. So let's jump in. Top 1. Picture this. You're holding a coin. It's large. It's weighty. It feels important. You flip it over and see a powerful image, an American bald eagle landing on the surface of the moon. You turn it again and see the face of a man, stern yet dignified. The name beneath it reads Eisenhower, one of America's most respected military generals and a former president of the United States. And the date? It says 1971. At first glance, it might seem like just another coin from a pocket full of change. But that $1 coin you're holding could be one of the rarest, most valuable pieces in all of American coin history. Today, we're taking a deep dive into the fascinating world of the 1971 Eisenhower $1 coin, a coin with mystery, a coin with hidden power, and yes, a coin that once sold for a jaw-dropping $240,000. So don't blink. Stay with me, collectors and coin lovers, because what you're about to learn could change the way you look at every Eisenhower dollar you ever come across. Let's rewind the clock and step back into American history. The Eisenhower dollar, affectionately called the Ike dollar, was introduced in 1971. It was the first dollar coin minted since 1935, following the end of the Peace Dollar series. The coin was created to honor Dwight D. Eisenhower, Supreme Commander of Allied Forces in World War II and the 34th President of the United States. But this coin also held a second tribute. On the reverse, you'll find a powerful space-themed design that honored the Apollo 11 moon landing, completed just 2 years earlier in 1969. This coin wasn't just money. It was a celebration of American greatness, both military and technological. It was issued during a time of pride, progress, and patriotism. And because of that, it became much more than a simple piece of currency. Now, here's where the story gets exciting. The 1971 Eisenhower dollar was minted in two different versions: the copper nickel-clad version made for general circulation, and a 40% silver version produced specifically for collectors. These silver Ikes were struck at the San Francisco Mint and sold in special government-issued packaging. But here's the twist: even among these two types, there were a number of errors, misstrikes, and rare varieties that were never meant to leave the U.S. Mint. And when they did, that's when history was made. Let's talk about the kinds of errors and rarities that make certain 1971 Eisenhower dollars worth tens of thousands, even hundreds of thousands, of dollars. First, we have the Friendly Eagle variety, a unique version of the coin minted in Philadelphia that features a softer, almost cartoon-like rendering of the eagle on the reverse. Its feathers appear different, the beak is shaped oddly, and the style of the overall design is more relaxed. This wasn't an intentional design, it was a result of die modifications during the production process. And because so few were struck, this Friendly Eagle variety has become one of the most sought after by collectors. Next up, the double die obverse, a striking error where the coin's front design was impressed twice, creating a doubling effect especially noticeable in the words, Liberty, and In God We Trust. The doubling may be subtle, but it's powerful in value. Collectors go wild for clear, visible doubled dies, and the 1971 Eisenhower has produced a few very rare examples. Now, brace yourself for one of the most mysterious errors of them all, the wrong planchet strike. This happens when a coin intended to be struck on a large, heavy $1 planchet is mistakenly struck on a much smaller blank, like a quarter or a foreign coin. The result? A coin that looks bizarre, thinner, lighter, oddly sized, and possibly missing major parts of the design. These wrong planchet Eisenhower errors are exceedingly rare and often bring massive premiums at auction. And then there's the silver error coin, a mistake where a coin meant to be clad in copper nickel was accidentally struck on a 40% silver planchet. These transitional errors happened during the chaotic switch in metal compositions in the early 1970s, and a handful of these silver-clad errors from 1971 are known to exist. Their shine is slightly different. Their weight is off by just a bit. But their value? Off the charts. Still not convinced this coin can be worth serious money? Let's talk condition. Most Eisenhower dollars are large and heavy, and that means they're also prone to scratches, dents, and bag marks from the minting process. That's why finding a mint state 67 or higher coin, especially from 1971, is extremely rare. Combine a high grade with one of the errors I just mentioned, and you've got a collector's dream in your hands. Now, here's where this story takes a turn straight into coin legend. One particular 1971 Eisenhower dollar, struck on a rare silver planchet and kept in pristine condition for decades, was put up for auction. It had everything: a shimmering surface, crisp details, flawless preservation, and a confirmed planchet error that only a handful of people in the world had ever seen before. When the bidding started, experts knew this coin was special. But no one expected what came next. The bids rose higher, and then skyrocketed. Collectors battled fiercely. Dealers held their breath. And in the end, this single Eisenhower dollar, struck in 1971, fetched a mind-blowing final price of $240,000. That's right. A coin that once could buy a cup of coffee at a diner turned into a small fortune. $240,000. And here's the best part: this coin could still be out there. It could be in an old bank roll. It could be sitting in your father's collection. It could be waiting in the back of a desk drawer, unrecognized for what it truly is. So if you have any Eisenhower dollars from 1971, take a closer look. Study the details. Weigh them. Feel them. And compare them. Look for the friendly eagle. Look for unusual metal. Look for doubled letters. Because in this hobby, knowledge is treasure. Thank you for joining me on this thrilling journey into the world of the 1971 Eisenhower $1 coin. If you enjoyed this deep dive, be sure to like, subscribe, and tap the bell for more rare coin stories that might just lead you to your next great discovery. Remember, every coin has a story. And some of them are worth more than you could ever imagine. Top 2. You're walking through a flea market on a warm afternoon. The tables are lined with old postcards, faded books, vinyl records, and then something catches your eye. A small box of old coins. You reach in, shuffle through the pile, and there it is, a large, bold $1 coin. It's weighty. It feels historic. The date reads 1972, and the face staring back at you is none other than Dwight D. Eisenhower, one of America's greatest generals and presidents. At first, it just looks like another old dollar. But what if I told you that this very coin, the 1972 Eisenhower $1, could be worth far more than you'd ever expect? What if I told you that one of these coins has sold for an astonishing amount of $230,000? Yes, you heard that right. And today, you're about to find out why. Welcome, collectors, coin hunters, and treasure seekers. In this video, we're taking a deep, thrilling dive into the story of the 1972 Eisenhower dollar, a coin that hides incredible value, mind-blowing varieties, and shocking minting mistakes that could turn your pocket change into a life-changing fortune. So stay with me, don't miss a second, because this could be the most exciting coin story you've ever heard. The Eisenhower dollar, first minted in 1971, was America's bold return to large-sized dollar coins. After the peace dollar ended in 1935, there hadn't been a circulating dollar for over 3 decades. So when the U.S. Mint introduced the Eisenhower dollar, it was a big moment, literally and symbolically. The coin honored President Dwight D. Eisenhower, and on the reverse side, it celebrated the Apollo 11 moon landing with an eagle landing on the moon's surface, an image based on the Apollo 11 mission patch. But while the design was patriotic and powerful, the real treasure lies in the 1972 issues, especially because of the extremely rare and complicated varieties that were created, some of which were completely unknown to collectors for many years. Let's break it down. In 1972, Eisenhower dollars were minted at 3 different mints: Philadelphia, no mint mark, Denver, D, and San Francisco, S. The ones from San Francisco were either 40% silver uncirculated coins or proof versions intended for collectors. But the Philadelphia coins? That's where things get seriously fascinating. The Philadelphia Mint produced Eisenhower dollars for circulation, but the dies used for the 1972 reverse design were changed multiple times during the year. And those changes created three distinct reverse varieties: Type 1, Type 2, and Type 3, each with unique characteristics that make them highly collectible. Let's focus on the holy grail of these, the 1972 Type 2 reverse. This variety is incredibly rare. It was only used for a very short time early in 1972. The Type 2 reverse shows a weak and almost unrecognizable outline of the Earth behind the eagle, and the islands of the Caribbean are missing or mushy. The reason for this error? A proof reverse die meant for the San Francisco Mint was mistakenly used on coins struck in Philadelphia. That accident created a very small number of circulation strike coins with this unique die. Most people never noticed. Most of these coins went straight into cash drawers or bank rolls. But collectors who've found this rare reverse type, they've hit the jackpot. Type 2 Eisenhower dollars in mint state condition are so rare that only a tiny number have been graded and certified. And when they come up for auction, the bidding can get intense. But the Type 2 isn't the only gem in the 1972 Eisenhower dollar world. There are also double die obverse errors, where the lettering and design show clear doubling off-center strikes, where the coin wasn't properly aligned during minting, making the image lopsided or partially missing. Wrong planchet errors, where a dollar design is accidentally struck on a smaller planchet, like a quarter or foreign coin. Clipped planchets, where a piece of the coin is visibly missing due to an error in the cutting process. Each of these errors adds incredible value to the coin, especially if preserved in high-grade uncirculated or proof condition. And speaking of condition, let's talk about grading. Most Eisenhower dollars, especially from circulation, have been heavily handled. They're big, bulky, and prone to nicks, dings, and scratches. That's why finding a 1972 Ike in mint state 65 or higher is a challenge, and a serious victory for collectors. Combine a high grade with a rare error or the elusive Type 2 reverse, and you're looking at a 5 or 6-figure coin. Now, here's where it gets jaw-dropping. A stunning 1972 Eisenhower dollar, featuring the Type 2 reverse, struck in brilliant mint state condition, with perfect luster and detail, a true rarity in every sense, went up for auction. Bidders knew exactly what they were fighting for. The rarity, the condition, the story behind the accidental die usage, all of it made this coin a masterpiece. And when the final bid was placed, and the gavel came down, the world watched as this remarkable 1972 Eisenhower dollar sold for $230,000. That's not a rumor. That's not a myth. That's a real number for a real coin that could have easily been overlooked as ordinary. Now imagine this. What if one of these rare 1972 Ikes is hiding in a box in your attic? What if it's sitting in a roll of coins you bought at the bank? What if it's in your collection right now, just waiting to be discovered? This is why coin collecting is so exciting. It's a mix of history, art, science, and luck. And it's not just about money, it's about preserving pieces of America's story, and maybe, just maybe, finding one of those legendary treasures along the way. So whether you're a seasoned collector or someone just starting out, always take a close look at your Eisenhower dollars, especially those from 1972. Look for that Type 2 reverse. Examine the lettering. Compare the globe behind the eagle. And if you find something strange, different, or unusual, don't ignore it. That could be the beginning of a life-changing discovery. Thank you for watching. And if you enjoyed this deep dive into one of America's most fascinating coins, make sure to like this video, subscribe to the channel, and turn on that notification bell so you never miss a story that could lead you to your next big find. And always remember, sometimes, the coins we overlook are the ones worth the most. Top 3. Imagine holding a piece of American history right in the palm of your hand, not just a coin, but a bold metallic symbol of strength, leadership, and exploration. Now picture this, a coin minted during a time of national challenge, global tension, and political transformation. You flip it over, and there it is, a majestic eagle landing on the moon. You turn it again and see the stern face of a 5-star general, a war hero, a U.S. president, Dwight D. Eisenhower. The year marked on this coin is 1974. And what seems like an ordinary Eisenhower $1 coin might actually be hiding something extraordinary, a mistake, a rarity, or a condition so pristine that collectors are willing to pay massive amounts of money just to own it. Welcome, coin lovers and treasure seekers. In today's video, we're diving deep into the mystery, history, and rare secrets behind the 1974 Eisenhower $1 coin, a coin that's been making serious waves in the world of numismatics. Some people think old coins are just shiny souvenirs, but collectors like you and me know better. Hidden among everyday pocket change are legends, coins struck with rare errors, unintentional details, or minting quirks that make them extremely valuable. And the 1974 dollar is no exception. Let's begin this journey by going back to the roots of this coin. The Eisenhower dollar was minted from 1971 to 1978 and was the last large-sized dollar coin struck for general circulation in the United States. It was introduced not just to honor President Dwight D. Eisenhower, a towering figure in both World War II and post-war America, but also to celebrate the monumental Apollo 11 moon landing. And if you look at the reverse of the coin, you'll see the tribute, a bold American eagle clutching an olive branch, descending onto the moon's surface, a moment captured forever in metal. But what makes the 1974 Eisenhower dollar so fascinating is that it was minted just before a major change was about to hit America, the end of the Ike dollar series and the nation's transition to the smaller Susan B. Anthony dollar. So this 1974 issue, minted at 3 locations, Philadelphia, no mint mark, Denver, D, and San Francisco, S, became one of the final and most important coins of its kind. Let's talk rarity, because this is where it gets very interesting. First up, proof coins from San Francisco. These were minted for collectors using a special high-polish process that results in mirror-like surfaces and frosted details. Most were carefully handled, but finding a perfect condition proof coin with no scratches, haze, or toning is still extremely rare. The highest graded 1974 S proof coins, especially those graded proof 70 deep cameo, are highly sought after and extremely valuable. But the real surprises come from the mint errors and die varieties that slip through during production. Let's take a look at some of the most sought after rare errors on the 1974 Eisenhower dollar. 1. Double die verse, one of the most dramatic and collectible errors in the coin world. On some 1974 dollars, you can clearly see doubling on the inscriptions like, "In God we trust, liberty," or even Eisenhower's facial features. This kind of doubling isn't just cool, it's valuable, especially when graded in mint state condition. Point 2. Wrong planchet errors. This is when the Eisenhower dollar was accidentally struck on a blank meant for a different coin. Some 1974 dollars were found struck on 40% silver planchets, even though they weren't intended for silver that year. Others have appeared on smaller blanks, like quarter planchets. These errors are extremely rare and often escape detection for years. Point 3. Off-center strikes. Imagine the entire image of the coin shifted off to one side, part of the design is missing, and the blank edge is clearly visible. The more extreme the off-center strike, the rarer and more valuable the coin becomes. Point 4. Clipped planchets. This error happens when the blank planchet isn't properly cut, resulting in a curved section missing from the edge of the coin. These look dramatic and are easy to identify, a collector's dream if it's also in high condition. Point 5. Die breaks and cuts. Overused or damaged dies sometimes crack, causing raised lines or blobs of extra metal to appear on the surface of the coin. These errors add character and value, especially when clearly visible. But don't forget about condition. Because for coins like the 1974 Eisenhower dollar, value isn't just about the error, it's also about the grade. Most circulated Eisenhower dollars are full of scratches, dings, and wear. That's why a perfectly preserved, uncirculated coin, especially one graded MS67 or higher, becomes incredibly rare. Now, let's get to the part that truly makes collectors' jaws drop. In recent years, a 1974 Eisenhower dollar, struck on a rare silver planchet in error, preserved in astonishing condition, and certified by a top grading service, made its way into a private auction. This was no ordinary coin. It shimmered. It was nearly flawless. And most importantly, it had a story, a documented mint error, proof of its rarity, and historical significance that few other coins can claim. As the bidding began, collectors knew they were looking at something special. And when the dust settled, that single Eisenhower dollar sold for a staggering $210,000. Let that sink in. A coin that could have ended up in a vending machine. A coin that may have passed through countless hands without anyone realizing its worth, transformed into a life-changing treasure because of a minting error and its incredible preservation. And here's the best part. That kind of coin could still be out there. In a forgotten coin jar. In a dusty drawer. In a box from your grandfather's attic. That's the magic of collecting, the unknown, the thrill of discovery, the potential of finding something remarkable where you least expect it. So if you've got a 1974 Eisenhower dollar, or if you come across one at a yard sale, a coin show, or inside an old roll from the bank, examine it closely. Look for unusual metal color, bold doubling, off-center images, or anything that feels a little off. And if you think you found something unique, get it graded by a professional service, because your find could be worth far more than you ever imagined. Thank you for joining me on this incredible journey into one of America's most iconic and underestimated coins. If you found this video exciting, don't forget to like, subscribe, and turn on notifications so you never miss another episode on rare and valuable U.S. coins. Because who knows? The next time you hold a coin in your hand, you might just be holding history, or $210,000 in cold, hard metal. Top 4. Imagine walking through a dusty old antique store, flipping through forgotten boxes of old coins. The owner shrugs as you pick up a large, silver-toned dollar coin. That one? Just an old Eisenhower, he says casually. But what he doesn't know, what even you might not know, is that you're holding a piece of American coin history. A coin that, in the right condition and with the right error, could be worth a jaw-dropping amount of money. The 1979 Eisenhower $1 coin. Yes, you heard that right. While most people glance past the Eisenhower dollar without a second thought, there's a version of the 1979 Eisenhower dollar that's so rare, so unique, and so valuable that it has sold for an absolutely astonishing price. This is a coin that could easily sit unnoticed in a drawer, yet be worth more than a brand new sports car, a luxury vacation, or even a small house. Welcome to the fascinating story of the final year of the Eisenhower dollar series, a story full of minting mistakes, secret varieties, and collector passion. Today, we're diving into the 1979 Eisenhower dollar and uncovering the shocking truth behind why some of these coins are worth a fortune, and how you might have one without even knowing it. Let's set the scene. The year is 1979, disco is fading, inflation is rising, and the US Mint is preparing for a major change. After years of producing the large, heavy Eisenhower dollars, it's time for something smaller. The Susan B. Anthony dollar is about to launch, designed to be more practical for circulation. And so, the Eisenhower series is coming to an end. But here's where it gets interesting. Most people believe the Eisenhower dollar ended in 1978, and officially, that's correct. But as any seasoned collector knows, plans don't always go as expected at the US Mint. In 1979, a small handful of Eisenhower dollars were still struck, test strikes, transitional errors, and planchet mix-ups, and these coins are among the rarest and most mysterious of the entire Eisenhower series. That's what makes the 1979 Eisenhower dollar a white whale in the world of coin collecting. Let's talk about why. First, we need to understand what makes this coin so incredibly rare. While the official mint records say no regular Eisenhower dollars were released in 1979, a very limited number were accidentally struck at the Denver and Philadelphia mints using leftover dies and blank planchets from 1978. These transitional strikes, coins that should not exist, are exactly what collectors dream about. But that's not all. Some of these 1979 Eisenhower dollars were struck on improper planchets, including leftover 40% silver planchets from previous years. These silver-clad coins weren't supposed to be used anymore for circulation. Yet somehow, they made it into the minting presses and were struck with a 1979 date. The result? A coin that looks normal on the outside, but when weighed or tested reveals a completely different metallic composition, making it a treasure hiding in plain sight. Now let's get into the error coins. And oh, are they something special? Point 1. Off-metal strikes. These are coins struck on planchets meant for another denomination or composition. Some 1979 Eisenhower dollars were struck on Susan B. Anthony dollar planchets, smaller, different alloy, and completely unintended. These errors are incredibly rare and extremely valuable. Point 2. Off-center errors. Imagine the entire coin's design shifted sharply to one side, with part of the lettering or Eisenhower's head partially missing. These dramatic visual errors instantly raise the value of any coin, and when it's already a rare 1979 Ike, it becomes a collector's dream. Point 3. Double die errors. These occur when the die used to strike the coin had been engraved twice slightly misaligned, causing noticeable doubling in words like Liberty, in God we trust, or the date. When seen on a coin as rare as a 1979 Eisenhower, the result is a true showpiece. Point 4. Wrong planchet errors. Some 1979 Ike dollars have surface struck on foreign planchets or even quarter-size blanks, making them completely out of spec and extraordinarily rare. And then comes the grade, the condition of the coin. Even if your coin doesn't have a major error, if it's an absolutely flawless condition, with no wear, no scratches, and sharp detail, it can be worth many times its face value. But when you combine high condition with a mint error, that's when things get serious. We're talking about coins that have been certified by top grading agencies like PCGS or NGC, often labeled with descriptions like mint error, transitional planchet, or off-metal strike. These labels turn an already rare coin into a numismatic powerhouse. Now let's get to the moment you've been waiting for. At a recent private auction, a 1979 Eisenhower $1 coin struck an error on a leftover silver-clad planchet with impeccable detail, near perfect condition, and verified by experts, stunned the collector's world. The bidding was fierce. Experienced dealers and wealthy private collectors knew what was at stake. This wasn't just a coin, it was a once-in-a-lifetime discovery, and when the final bid was placed, the coin sold for a staggering $160,000. Yes, you heard that right. A coin most people don't even know exists, a 1979 Eisenhower dollar, sold for $160,000 because of its error, rarity, and remarkable preservation. Now ask yourself, could you have one of these coins? Have you ever skipped over an Ike dollar thinking it wasn't worth anything? This story is your reminder. In the world of coins, the most unexpected treasures can come from the most ordinary places. So the next time you see a silver dollar-sized coin with Eisenhower's proud profile, don't ignore it. Look at the date. Feel the weight. Look for errors. You might just be holding history in your hands, or the next six-figure coin. Thank you for joining me on this incredible journey into one of the rarest and most exciting mysteries in American coin collecting. If you enjoyed this deep dive, don't forget to like this video, subscribe to our channel, and turn on notifications, because the next coin you learn about here might just be hiding in your own collection. And remember, sometimes, the coin everyone overlooks is the one that could change your life.